Hi guys, and welcome back to episode 5 of Real Estate in Real Life. Today I'm joined here with Zay Brown. Zay is our area manager for the Downtown Business Bay DIFC, which is one of the best areas in Dubai. It's down beside the Burj Khalifa and the Dubai Mall, in case you don't know. She's one of our high performers in the company as well. It gives you a slightly different insight, and if this is your first time joining us, just so you know what we're doing, we have brokers from all different walks of life, all different ages, all different backgrounds, who are essentially given a real look, an authentic look into real estate and real life in Dubai. So Zay, my first question to you would be, what was life like growing up in the UK?
So I was born in London and raised in Buckinghamshire, and it's quite a close-knit kind of town outside the main city.
Yeah.
Growing up, it was definitely old money community, very small neighborhood, and we're very much taught that you have to go to university, get a good degree, get a good job, live in the city. And I think growing up, it was just always that academic kind of background. It was good. I mean, my first job was when I was 15, and I've always wanted to be working constantly, earning my own money. And yeah, community life was good. It was just very different to Dubai. I think growing up, it's just always that expectation to follow that same path of, go to a good high school, make sure you go to a good university, graduate with a good degree, and then get a really good job. So life back home was very much the same path as everyone. It didn't feel like there was so many different opportunities to choose from. It was good. Yeah.
Fantastic. And what sort of jobs did you have growing up? Obviously, you started your first job at 15.
Yeah.
Were they odd jobs? Did you stay in a career for a while? What did you look at?
So my odd jobs to begin with, I mean, when I was 15, I begged a hairdresser to give me a job. And I was literally sweeping up hair, making tea and coffee, and I was just like chatting to clients. But I look back at those times and I was earning £4 an hour. And I still remember that to this day. Like, I talk about it to people that I meet today. And I say to them, like, look, I used to work for £4 an hour. And I think by having that kind of mindset of, you know what, I'm still going to work and I'm still going to earn my own money and make my own way, I think it teaches you a lot and forms you to be a really great character for the person you are today. Like, it's so good for character building. It's so good for just the people skills that you learn and you develop in that role. So I look back and I'm like, I was just 15, but I was talking to strangers all the time. Yeah. I was making conversations. I was like developing, communication skills. And then I went on to I was working at Waitrose. I did that for 3 years. So then I moved my way up to being a supervisor, did that alongside my A-levels. And then I worked at a hotel as another supervisor there, kind of alongside my studies. So every time it was always my job and my education and balancing that simultaneously. I never wanted to be without a job. I think, yes, money now is so different to money back then, but it's so good because it formed me to be the confident person I am today.
It set the foundation for you as a person.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you. Great answer. So Zay, you did those jobs, and like everyone, we had odd jobs growing up. What made you decide to move to Dubai, and was real estate your first option?
So it's an interesting story. I graduated from university with a politics and international relations degree, and I was on track to go to law school to do a second degree. And I had no kind of vision of real estate. That was just not on the radar for me. And what happened was I realized the cost of law school and how much money and how many years it would take me to actually get to where I wanted to be. And I just thought, well, I'm young, I don't have any children, this is the time to take a risk, try something different. And I wanted to get out of the London bubble because it is very much you work Monday to Friday, look forward to the weekends, and then it's back to Monday to Friday. I wanted something way more kind of rewarding, something a lot more challenging as well. And I wanted to push myself out of the comfort zone. So after I went traveling for a year around the world, I thought, right, this is it. I'm going to move to a new city. Chose Dubai for so many reasons. I mean, honestly, I was just browsing jobs through literally from 9 a.m. through till 9 p.m. I was just browsing jobs and nothing was grabbing me. Yeah. So I saw this job on the internet and it was just Dubai, straight away, commission only, so many risks to it. Never been to Dubai and lived there, let alone know anyone here. So that just happened. And it was literally like a phone call, a Zoom call, and then I booked my flights the day after. So from start to finish of applying for the job, I was out here in 5 days.
Yeah.
Said goodbye to everyone
Wow.
back home so quick. And it was just one of those moments where it was like, you know what, this could all fall apart. So, like, who cares? So what if it does? It's a learning curve, right?
Yeah.
I'm still young. I've got so much to go like in life. But I was like, but what if it's great? And fast forward 5 years and I'm
you're
here.
regretting it.
Yeah, best thing I ever did.
So during COVID, Selling Sunset was on Netflix, and I've always loved $1 Million Listing and these sort of programs, and it got a lot of people thinking, I want to do real estate, I want to move to Dubai, where it was open at the time and people could get into the country. Those programs are amazing, and it makes you go, wow, look at this, look at that. What would you say about those TV programs compared to what Dubai real estate is like?
So I think it's always good to bear in mind that when you come into the office, you got to start somewhere. Everyone starts somewhere, and it's going to be grafting. It's going to be blood, sweat, and tears. And it's not going to be, oh my God, I just sold like a 35 million dirham or dollar house, right? Yeah. And I think it's good to kind of set the tone, especially when people are asking me, oh, I'm thinking about moving to Dubai. What is it like? And I tell them all the negatives first, because I want them to be like, I still want to do it. Because I want them to look at me and say, oh my goodness, you're saying it's 7 days a week, you don't get free time, you have to make sacrifices, there's no salary. But I still want them to turn around and be like, but I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to work and I'm ready to make the plunge. And I'm like, great. Because then it's the right person, right?
Definitely. Then, our goal is to be transparent with people moving here. And I've seen so many people, and so have you over the years, come here for the wrong reasons.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll obviously come on to that. But that was a fantastic answer, Zay. And as someone who's obviously been on the show and done these sort of things, there's no one better to ask.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So Zay, this job, it's high pressure, it's performance-based or commission-based, as some people call it. What challenges do you find in this industry?
I think there's several challenges in real estate. I think the main one is really your self-discipline. I think that if you're able to kind of zone out all the noise and distractions and you have tunnel vision, it's great. But it is hard. People think it's easy because it's your business. It's not. Like, there's so many times where you're the new person in the company and you want to make friends and you want to go out to that brunch. And it's hard to say no. And it's hard to be like, well, I want to fit in and I want to have my group and I want to have that circle. And it's like, Dubai has so much to offer, and it's probably one of the most distracting cities because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're entering a job, especially in the beginning, when you've just moved out here and you're trying to find your feet and you're not really established yet, it's important to be able to be like, right, remember your purpose, remember why you made this move, have that in your mind all the time, and make sure that you put yourself through the bad days and the good days. Because there's so many times that the challenges I faced were, a lot of them were my own, right? It's all in my head. I went through pre-COVID, COVID, and post-COVID real estate, as you did as well. And so we can understand that things were going great, and then it was, oh my goodness, my life is over. And then it was like, okay, actually things are looking good again. Yeah. But there's, even today, like even this week, even this month, there's going to be bad days and good days. And I think as long as you have a really good mindset and your thoughts are in the right place, you surround yourself by like-minded people. Because one thing I will say is people influence people so much out here, in particular in the city. And choosing that circle when you first move out here, choosing the right company, all of these things factor into how much you're going to be, successful in life. And I think that the other challenges I face in the industry is it's a very saturated industry. There are so many brokers. I think it's over 13,000 registered brokers, right? And that's not even considering.
Which means there's really 20.
Exactly, right? Because there's so many rookies as well. So I think, one challenge is when you're on the phone to sellers, when you're on the phone to buyers, it is hard to be like, right, I'm not the same as everyone else. You've got to make that point from the get-go. You've got to grab their attention within the first 5 seconds of that phone call and say that, look, I'm different and this is what I have to offer, right? And I think because there's so many agents that give you a bad name, it's hard for clients to be able to trust you, right? Yeah. And that's why it's so important to go and have that face-to-face meeting to make sure you build that rapport, because there's so many agents out there who are running around sending people to viewings without being there.
The door's open.
The door's
Go have
open.
a look.
Oh, it's the worst thing in the world. And I think because of the bad reputation, people do talk about real estate in a negative way out here. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them, because I've had a bad experience with agents, and I'm an agent myself. And when I'm looking for a property, I expect a response. I expect people to be informative, and you are paying for a service. So when people are ruining the name out there, obviously it's harder to graft. But what I will say is it's a double-edged sword. At the same time, when you do show like your customer service and your approach to real estate, it's memorable because it's so different to everyone else. If you do have a good offer, a good service, it does stand out compared to everyone else, and that will generate repeat business. So yeah, lots of challenges, very saturated, but also, you know, you've got to be strong as an individual to get through it all. Yeah.
Okay, curveball question, which I've not prepared you for, but it just, you know, came to me as we're talking there. You're a young, independent, successful businesswoman who is smashing it on the real estate scene. Is this market, or is this industry in Dubai male dominated, female dominated? Is that a stupid question? Should it even be brought up? Is that something?
I think it's a good topic to talk about because so many people, you know, are surprised when they see how many females are empowered in the city. I think there's such a misconception. Even I'm, you know, I would say I'm bad for it as well. When I first moved out here, I thought, oh my God, it's going to be a male-dominated city. How am I going to break it through in the actual industry? But then coming here, I think it's fair to say we've got top brokers who are male, top brokers that are female. There is definitely room for both genders to be successful. The most successful broker I know in the city is female, and she kills it, right? And she has a stellar reputation, and you know, her figures are next to none, and there's pristine brokers everywhere. I think that it is very challenging for females to be taken seriously sometimes. And I think that it's all down to your personality and how you approach certain situations. I think that you have to be resilient, you have to be thick-skinned. I would say even more so as a female. But what I would say is that there's definitely successful brokers, male and female, in this industry.
And I think our company at the moment is actually 50% male, 50% female when you look across the office. So it's definitely, we have people at the top of the tree who are male, we have people at the top of the tree who are female. We couldn't care less as long as you conduct yourself as a professional real estate broker. So yeah, thanks, Zay. That's really insightful and good to see that the opinions changed now after being here for a while. So we've just spoken about the challenges that you face or that every broker faces. And obviously this is now the 5th podcast and we're hearing all different things. But what keeps you in this industry when there's so many options out there? And at the same time, is it life-changing?
I could never see myself doing anything else other than real estate. I think it's just in a sales environment, it's so hard to walk away from it. I mean, I struggle to even book a holiday because I'm so addicted to the job. And it is an addictive job. You know, you are literally, you close a deal, you're ready to close the next deal. You look at your figures, you want to do more. It's never enough. And I think people will say to me all the time, you know, what would you do if you could get a really good salary though? And then a smaller commission structure. And I said, I wouldn't trade it any day. You could offer me crazy money and I'd still rather have the commission job only because it's uncapped, which means I can make any money any month.
You're in control of your own paycheck.
Exactly. And I think that people find that scary. I find that actually, if anything, more rewarding, and I find it more like motivating. For me, it's like something that I'm more geared to actually work harder. If you give me a job and it's 9 to 5 and it's a base set salary, I'm not inclined to make the business better. I'm not inclined to make it grow because I'm getting paid either way. The thing that keeps me in real estate is the fact that it's commission and because there's so much opportunities. I mean, as a personality who's like someone who loves talking to new people, loves growing their knowledge, it's perfect for someone like me. I love not being strapped into an office. I love being a field agent. I love speaking to people. I want to attend networking events. And there's so many doors that open up from real estate and connections that you form. And I think, honestly, when you get to that level where you're a known person in the industry, it's that the relationships you've built, you don't want to walk away from. I think the thing that keeps me doing this is that you get to the point where you're like, okay, I've made so much money. I've made more money than anyone my age I know. I've come so far. But I want more, and I want this, and I want my family to be taken care of, and I want my partner to be taken care of, and I want to build an empire. And I think that real estate opens the doors up for that, rather than any other company. Why would I work somewhere to get a 5% raise a year later? It's just not enough, right? So, and I think, what was the second part of the question?
The second question was, is it life-changing?
Yeah, yes. So, I mean, the whole point I moved into real estate is because I looked at the journey and the path for law. And I looked at that and I thought it's going to be 8 years before I'm earning any kind of money, really, real money. Not to mention the debt that I would have to get there, get there. But I think that the exciting thing about this job is that every single day you wake up, you don't know what conversation you're going to have.
Yeah.
You could literally have a phone call conversation this morning and make life-changing money in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that's what's so exciting about this job. I say to every broker, you could be having the worst day of your life. You could have lost the biggest deal, but there could be an even bigger deal just around the corner. And I think that people need to understand that every day is an opportunity. Every conversation, every phone call, every meeting, it's going to open up more doors. So is it life-changing? Absolutely. But you have to be the one who instigates and makes these decisions that's going to open these doors up. It's not going to happen and fall on your lap.
Yeah.
But if there's any job that's going to be like the closest to getting you to that is this job.
Yeah.
There's no other city that can offer this kind of like lifestyle as well. So yeah, definitely life-changing.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So Zay, you've obviously been in the industry now a little while. You are smashing it. You have a team who work alongside you and under you, and you're growing that team, helping that team. Our company has the #1 lead generator for downtown, Business Bay, all these areas, and going from strength to strength. Where do you see yourself a year from now? And the good thing about this all being recorded and put out there is we'll be looking at it in a year.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay. A year from now, Zay Brown, a year from now. I honestly see myself still having a really strong team. I want to be able to say that I own multiple properties.
Yeah.
And I think that's a goal that's been on my radar for so long now. And I think this is the year that I can actually start doing that. I want to be able to say that my phone is more valuable than anything else because of the contacts I have built and added to that.
Yeah.
And I think a year from now, I just want to be able to say that, yeah, I'm in the top, maybe, oh, it's a hard one. A year from now, I want to look at this moment and say that that was just the beginning. Like,
Amazing.
I didn't even realize how much is going to come.
Yeah.
Because I want to do a record sale. I have so many plans in terms of I want to be able to say I sold the most expensive plot in Dubai, or I had a record sale in this particular community.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, a year from now, that's what I want to say.
Amazing. Well, I look forward to a year from now looking back and making you watch it. Brilliant. We'll move on to the next question. As we've spoke about, real estate can be up and down. It can be crazy. It's not an easy job by any means. What's your why? And I think it's something very important that I'm asking everyone, and actually even everyone that joins the company, I go into the training and I say to them, when you're here, what is your why? And it needs to be a very strong why to drive you. What's your why?
I think growing up, there wasn't that many opportunities to be successful. And I think my parents are of that generation where they had to go out and work really hard to be able to provide and give us what we have today. And I think my why is really to be able to provide for my family. That's something that keeps me going. But also it's to take advantage of the opportunities we have, because I look at my sister, for example, and, she has a disability and she has epilepsy and autism. And that's always been a reminder growing up of, she can't do so many things. And yet I can. I have the ability to. And I think that it's so easy to forget these things that we're in such an amazing position. And I think my why is always, well, I'm doing it not just for myself, I'm doing it for my sister, I'm doing it for my family. But it's also like, you see the fast cars out here, you see the city life. And I think it's important to reflect, like, why did you take the leap? Why did you sacrifice being at home with family and being with your friends? So yeah, my why is really because I know my sister could never be able to do what I can. She can never drive. She can never go to a concert, flashing lights. And it's people like her who are so great, but are so limited. And then it reminds for people like me that we have all these tools. We are fit and we're healthy and we can do so much, that why wouldn't we do it properly, right? And I think that I've always told myself from a young age, whatever I do it to the full. I never do something half-hearted. If you're going to do something, you do it completely to the end. You see it through. You don't give up. And I think that even though I started out in this industry not really knowing the end path of it all, it was kind of a trial. It's always been something that I'm like, you know what? I had a bad month. Doesn't matter. The next month's going to be better. The next month's going to be my record month. So my why is always in my head of, I've got to do this because growing up, people didn't believe in me, right? And it was always that, oh, you're not going to amount to that, or, you're not going to do this. And it's like, I've got to have that in my head to say, I am going to make it and I am going to be successful. And I've overcome so many barriers and I've been through so much to get to the point where I am today. To have anybody say to me that you don't deserve this.
Yeah.
You know, you work hard, but it pays off. And I think you have to constantly tell yourself that. Yeah.
Well, I think your success is undeniable, and any of the naysayers, they can't deny it. So I think you've done a very good job, and it's only going to get better. I think you've barely scratched the surface.
Thanks.
So you made the jump. Everyone that we're interviewing here, they've made the jump, and all the 200 employees at White & Co, they all made the jump. What would you say is a very important thing to look out for when searching for the right company to move to Dubai?
Obviously, I've worked at multiple companies, as you know. I mean, over 5 years, you do trial and test and you go to different companies. And that's not to say that some companies are bad. I mean, there's good things about those companies and there's bad things. And there's good things everywhere, right? But it's finding the right fit. And I think that having been to so many and why I'm so happy at White & Co is because it offers you the tools. Searching for the right company, you need to see, is there a cultural fit? Then you need to understand that, do they have all the tools to support your business? Because so many brokers I speak to, they're a broker and then they go and they have to wear a conveyancing hat because they have to see the deal through. And then they have to go and run around and support the admin side of their business. And then they have to go and take photos and then they have to edit them. And it's like, hang on, remember your role, if you want to excel in that role, is to really channel that into just brokering deals. You are a real estate broker. And so when you're choosing a company, you need to make sure they have all these different divisions and areas that are strong. They have a strong media team, they have a strong marketing team, digital marketing. And I think lots of companies can say, oh, we have this and we have this. But the real thing is knowing, one, how much are they pouring into their brokers and investing in their brokers, and not just the OG brokers is what I call them.
Yeah.
Right. And now by saying that, I mean, every company, they have their brokers where they've been there from day one. And I think the good thing about this company is because it's, just over 2 years old, there's none of those egos.
Yeah.
Like there isn't that, well, I've been here for 10 years, so the rules don't apply to me. Yeah. Or I've been doing this for so long, so it's different. I think it's important that you feel valued and respected by your directors, by your management team, but also by your colleagues. Yeah. You need to feel like it's a good cultural fit for you. And you need to see that they're doing what they're preaching, right? If they're saying, oh, we have a good marketing team, well, look at their marketing, right? See if you've heard of their name, right? See where their name is branded. See if Property Finder are acknowledging their marketing side. Like, it's important to do your research. I think for me, when I'm speaking to brokers and they're telling me, oh, well, this company's offering a little basic salary. And I'm thinking, okay, but how does that weigh, right, in terms of your time? Because I think if anything is the most important thing is your time. And if your time is too busy spent taking photos because they don't have a photographer, or it's too busy running around getting paperwork sorted because you don't have a lawyer in-house or whatnot, right? You need all the tools. So searching for the company that has that is important. Also, I think you need to be happy, right? You need to make sure you put your happiness first. I've worked at companies where I was going home and I was just miserable. I would go to work dreading it and thinking, oh my God, right, I have to do this every day and I don't know when it's going to stop. And I think people struggle to say, right, enough's enough. Because they just go, well, I don't want to move companies. I don't want to start again. I don't want to have to put new listings up. What if I don't know the people or I have my clique here? And I've seen it so many times. People stay at a company whilst they're unhappy because it's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Rather than actually say, you know what, I'm better than this. I deserve more. I can bring more to the table and I'll be valued more elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's just taking that plunge and being like, right, well, I can see all these people have done it and they're all happy and they haven't left and they're still raving about it. I remember speaking to some friends, because we all have friends, especially when you've been doing this a long time. Yeah. We got friends at all different companies.
Yep.
And I'm going for dinner with them and they're saying, oh, I hate this, or I hate this thing, or this upset me. And I said, oh, what about you? I'm like, yeah, I'm loving it. It's great. I've actually just got a Cartier bracelet. And they're like, Jesus. And I'm like, it's not just the incentives. No, it's like, these are all bonuses. But it's like, do I see progression? Can I see myself growing? And can I see myself being, valued and appreciated, that, I'm working hard and it's getting recognized? Yeah. And it's not the same 5 names that are being called out every month, right? It's every month at this company, it's literally
a battle.
Exactly. You don't know who you're gonna be fighting against in the top 3, right? And that's what I love, because it's not the same like 3-4 people. So,
And something just to touch on there, Zay, which I think is important because some people back home or wherever they may be watching this might not understand. When Zay says she's been at a few companies, and just for anyone to be clear, myself, even before I opened White & Co, I had been at 6 or 7 companies. The thing about Dubai real estate is if me and Zay are both paid in commission only, we don't need to stay somewhere because we're not being paid anything.
exactly.
So why would I put money into that company's bank or pocket or whatever it would be if I don't feel gratitude, if I don't feel that they're being transparent, if I don't feel like they're growing and have the brokers and I'm not saying all the companies I worked for, same as you're not saying, are bad companies. But what I would say is I've tried to take White & Co and take all the good parts of the companies I've worked at. And if Zay comes to me with an idea, we used to do this at this company, my ego is not too big to say, you know what, that might work.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, it doesn't mean that you just jump around companies because one thing doesn't go well. But I do think it's very important that people understand if you're not happy where you are, comfortability is the enemy of progress. Go somewhere, go interview places, go and speak to people because there's good companies out there in Dubai and even companies me and you've worked at. They're still good companies. Yeah. They just weren't right for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry to jump on the back.
I think it's important that some companies are so established, and I think you just touched on that when you said that we are open to moving with the times.
Yeah.
Like we're an innovative company. We make progress off the back of people's feedbacks, right? If people said, right, we need this team or we need like more presence in this area or we need to open up this, and we're open to those conversations. I think some companies are like, well, we've been doing this 13, 15 years.
What do you know?
Exactly. You don't need to bring anything to the table. What is social media? Yeah. And it's like, come on, right?
We've always done it that way.
Yeah. And it's like, at what point? And then you have your established agents where there's no room to get those listings. There's no space for you because the directors are cleaning up. So I think you have to ask yourself that, do you always want to be restricted and limited? Or do you want to come to a company where you can spread your wings and actually have some freedom and flexibility to really, really unpack like your full potential?
Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly. Thanks, Zay. So on the back of your advice, they've moved to Dubai, they've found the company that suits them. What advice would you give this young and hungry broker who's just moved all this way over? What can make them successful the quickest way possible?
I always say start as you mean to go. And by saying that, I really mean people come over, they have all the energy, and then they'll burn out after a week. Yeah. No one said it was going to be easy, right? And I think as long as you're prepared, you're organized, and make sure you're surrounding yourself by the right people, like-minded people, find out who are the high performers in that company. Spend time with them, learn from them, grow with them. And I think one piece of advice I wish I had was make sure that you remain true to yourself. And what I mean by that is when I first moved out here, I think it was getting so caught up with, oh, it's the new lifestyle and I want to do this and I want to go to that place, I want to explore. All of that isn't going anywhere. 5 years later, SDK is still there, right? Yeah. Nikki Beach is still there. None of these places have disappeared, right? So take time to prioritize your business because the hardest part of real estate is the beginning, right? The longer you do this, the easier the job gets. Yeah. 5 years later, I don't pick up the phone and I don't cold call because people call me, right? And it gets to that point where I say to people, your hardest part is the first 6 months. Yeah. Do that properly, get your head down, have tunnel vision, make sure you get to work, come to work early, make sure you're working till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Then that's gonna really determine your success and how your year and how your second year and third year is going to play out. If you're going to come into it and do it half-hearted,
you're going to get half the results.
Exactly. You're going to cruise in, cruise out, you're going to make some friends, and then you're going to waste all your money. Yeah. And I hate seeing brokers come in to Dubai on commission only. They've saved up their money in the UK, they spend it, and then they go home. And I look at them and I'm like, you've just had a glorified holiday. You haven't actually started a career. Take it seriously. This is a career. This isn't just a gap year. This isn't just you've come out of uni. I get it. There's so many young brokers and it's so easy to get sidetracked, but you've got to take it seriously. Yeah. Even from the parts of the first impressions, invest in yourself, make sure you dress well. You can't be showing a 35 million dirham property, a 60 million dirham property with a 10 pound outfit. Not put together, not looking clean. Everything about from the way you dress to the way you communicate speaks volumes about you as an individual. And I think that if you take time to get those things and nail them from day one, you're gonna succeed. Yeah. People think that, oh, well, I'm never going to be able to be as good as that person because they've been doing it 10 years. It's like, no one's the same person, right?
Yeah.
Everyone brings something different to the table, right? Everyone has their different approaches and personalities. I'm very cutthroat. I'm very bullish. I like to be stylish, but people bring different flavors. And I think that if you're someone who's saying, right, I'm in the office an hour early than everyone else, and I leave the office an hour later than everyone else, you're gonna be better than everyone else.
Yeah.
If you're gonna invest that time in from the get-go, do it properly, because there's nothing worse than starting and just cruising by, treating it like it's 9 to 5, and then expecting results. It's not gonna happen. So put in the work from the day one, and you're gonna make sacrifices. Make sure, even if it means not having friends in the first 6 months, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Friends don't pay the bills. You pay your bills. And I say to people that I didn't have friends in the office because it didn't matter to me. That wasn't the goal. That wasn't my why I'm doing this, right? So I think as long as you very much fixate on the role at hand, the rest, you've got time. You've got time to go and check those places out, but build up, make sure you fill up your bank account first.
I think what you said there's a perfect example of what we deal with quite often, which is a broker who, your friend won't pay your bill. Someone asks you to go for a few pints or for a few drinks or something like that. And if you say no and now they don't want to be your friend, then they're never going to be your friend.
Exactly.
What you said no to going out for drinks, and that's the only way to become friends with people. No, there's way more to it. And I think you're right. Your priorities just need to be right. So off the back of the last question, is this industry for everyone?
Short answer, no.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, because it takes perseverance. It takes a certain person to be, you know what I came here for, and my eye is on the ball. And there's going to be days that you want to give up. I mean, it's the same with every industry, but I'd say it's harder in a city where you're not surrounded by people and you're moving your whole life out here. It's not for everyone. It's, there are mediocre brokers in every company, I would say. But if you want to be successful, that's the reason why you moved your whole life. If you wanted to just cruise by and get mediocre money and income, you would have just stayed in a salary role. But if you've chosen to move to a city like Dubai, where its majority is expats, everyone here shares one thing. They want something better, right? Everyone that moved to Dubai, they want a better city, a better lifestyle, better money, be able to look after their family. And I think that it takes a certain person to be thick-skinned, to be strong, to also be able to learn and be open to learning, because you can't have pride in this job. And I think that's something I learned growing up as well. I mean, this 5 years into it, it wasn't 5 great years. There were some really tough years. Yeah. And I think it takes for you, if you're open to learning and growing as a person and developing your skills, you'll learn very quickly that actually you're never going to be the perfect broker. There's always room to be better, right? Yeah. And I think that some people are not cut out for it. Some people, and that sounds harsh. I mean, is that harsh? Some people aren't cut out for it, and that's because feelings get hurt. And I used to take it personally as well. I say to new brokers, my first year, when someone didn't sign with me, I literally went home and I cried because I thought, what's wrong with me? I didn't mean any harm. I thought I was a good person. I thought we got on. I even bought them a coffee, and I didn't have much money, and I took them out for lunch, right? I'm being dead serious. And then I look back on those times, and it's not personal, it's business. And you need to be able to take the swings sometimes, and you have to roll with the punches. And that's just the nature of this, right? It's going to be so many times where you're going to get bad news, but you've got to pick yourself up and you've got to dial the next number as if you had the best day, because you can't let that affect the next deal. And I think back in the day, it was a different type of Zay. Yeah. And it was very much like, oh my God, I've took that so personally. Oh my God, I lost that deal. My life is over. But it's like, okay, so what? On to the next. Yep. The closer you are to parting with that bad day or bad deal or bad experience, the closer you are to getting onto the good stuff. Yep. And I think that it takes a kind of person to be like, you know what, I'm not going to sit in this rut. I'm going to get myself out of it, and I'm on to the next thing. So yeah, it's you gotta be thick-skinned for it, because there's big personalities in this industry. I mean, you can speak for that as well. It's very competitive, and I know that being, a strong, outspoken, unapologetic, confident woman, there was loads of people who wanted to see me fail, right? But you gotta approach it as, it's my journey and it's my responsibility to make sure that I don't fail. Yeah. And I'm not gonna listen to the noise. And that's the kind of approach you need to have, because people will be jealous. There'll be people that wanna see you,
Crash
not do,
burn.
Absolutely. And that's even with you starting a business. There's so many people that look to see what are other people doing. right? And you've got to just be like, this is my journey.
Yeah, agreed, and a fantastic answer. I think there's plenty of wisdom in there as well. So it's not for everyone, but it's for them to decide. And Zay, this is a question that I've asked everyone, and it can be looked at as a bit taboo because in the UK they don't talk about money. You can answer this however you want, but I always think it's very important for the people back home to be transparent. And people just say, "Oh, we just make a lot of money." That's not how it works.
Right.
What is the most amount of commission or incentives or whatever you want to describe it as that you've taken home in a month?
In my career, it would be at this company actually. It would have been
Great.
Yeah, it was great for me, great for you. £65,000 in my pocket.
Yeah.
I think is what I took home.
Yep.
And that's staggering when you say, I've never even thought about that.
Yeah.
And I think with this job, it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, next month, what am I going to do next month? And you have to pause for a second and be like, that's most people's annual salaries, double most people's annual salaries. And then you think that's take home, no tax, right? There's so many benefits. Because it's important to talk about it because lots of people will tell you that this is what our top.
That's all I wanted to know when I was moving was how much can you make? My question on the back of that then, so if you'd have went and done your law degree for the 8 years and followed that through, what sort of salary would you have came out of law, minus all the debt that you'd be in from going to law school, but what sort of salary would you be coming out to take home in a year?
So I was looking at salaries in the bracket of £60,000 to £80,000 a year, and that's not even taking away the tax.
Okay.
That is the gross.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, after my 3 years of undergrad and then my postgrad and then my training contracts and then it's so many years to get to that, and it's like I took that last month. Like it's just so normal, right? And you don't even, people go, what did you make last year? And I'm thinking, I haven't even like taken a think about it. Like haven't even thought about it, right? Because you don't calculate the money like that. You just know that you've got a lot of money, right? That's it. That's all it is.
It's nice not having to check your bank account when you're buying stuff.
It gets to that point, but people are so excited about like a £2 raise on their like hourly pay. And it blows my mind. It's important to talk about these things for sure.
Fantastic. Thank you. So Zay, the bar for the level of service in real estate in Dubai is so low. I like to think that at White & Co, we train, develop, help brokers so much that we manage to get ourselves up way higher to the top of the tree. I'm not saying everyone in there is the best brokers in Dubai, but we're working on it. What does it take to become a top 1% broker in Dubai?
I think being innovative is the main thing. You need to understand how you approach your business. You need to set yourself apart, right? You need to come up with the creative ideas of how you manage and conduct your business. People see it as, I work for this company. And it's like, that is true. And you are a broker for that company, but it's your business. How you come up with ideas, you can't be spoon-fed these things, right? You can't expect your director to be like, I've come up with this idea for that listing you picked up. You need to be like, right, who's my target audience? How am I going to sell this? What ideas do I have? What events do I need to attend to? And who do I need to be speaking to? So as long as you're innovative with your approach, whether that's content creating or whichever kind of...
I can't go on Instagram right now without seeing a video from you, honestly.
I know,
it's amazing,
everywhere.
but it's what you want to be doing.
Exactly. And I think that's the key thing is top 1% brokers, they are constantly growing with ideas. You're never going to regurgitate the same kind of recipe every time and expect the better results. If you want better results and improving all the time, you need to come up with a new recipe, right? So I think as long as you're innovative, I think that top 1% brokers are also people that are super organized and on top of their business. I can say that I'm not perfect in every aspect, and organization is something I'm still trying to perfect every single day. But also, I think what makes a top 1% broker is understanding priorities and getting their priorities right. Because this is a 7-day-a-week job. And I say that to people all the time is that don't look at social media and think that this is the yacht life or the G-Wagon life. Like, I want you to understand that if someone calls me and I'm at my best friend's wedding and they say, listen, I need to sign this contract today, or I need to fly home in an hour, I got to go. And that's a decision that you have to live with, because it's like, this job is crazy. It's high stress, yes, But
High reward.
it's high rewards. I mean, you don't get high rewards without high stress.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes 1% brokers so great, is that they really understand that this job doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
And I think that especially if you get a phone call, you run with that, you determine if it's worth doing, but you build your skills, you constantly grow, you go out there and understand the developments. Like, people sit there and go, oh, I don't know how to sell off plan. Oh, I'm not an off plan broker. No, make it your mission to be an off plan broker. I was sitting here 6 months ago, I couldn't tell you about the new Ellington projects or the new Drury Hills projects in JGE. But I sit here today confidently being able to talk about all of them because I've gone out of my way to speak to them, to go to the sales centers. So I think if you're someone who is, proactive and not reactive, you will be in the 1%.
Yeah.
You can't be sitting there getting a listing, whacking it on the portals and expecting for the leads to come.
Yeah.
You got to go and get the leads. And I think that's the misconception people have in being successful. It's like, well, I did 30 listings. Well, I did another 10 listings. Oh, I did another 2 price reductions. Oh, I tree checked. Why hasn't it sold? You can't have the expectation. You need to go out and sell it. You need to go out and figure out the best ways, the best people, the best approaches.
Yeah.
I think that they're the 3, I would say, top.
No,
for me.
amazing. And I completely agree as well. And I'm getting all different kinds of answers from the people who we're sitting down with, but they're all following the same suit. And it's being proactive, it's creating value, and the other things that you're saying there, Zay. So fantastic. So Zay, I think I've blabbed on enough about real estate brokerage and, being a real estate broker. What do you love about living in Dubai? And is this place now home for you?
Yes. It is home, absolutely. I think I'm a huge advocate of Dubai, and I think residents of Dubai are huge advocates of the city.
Yeah.
Because it goes without saying, it's super safe. Yes, the weather's great, and it's all the things you hear about, but it's so much more than that. Because for me, I'm an active person. I like to have a good lifestyle balance. I like to go horse riding, playing paddle tennis, go paddle boarding, go wake surfing. And all these things I can do before work or after work. And I don't have to be like, oh, is the weather going to be good to have a barbecue?
Yeah.
Like, everything is geared to have the best quality of life in the city. I think the leaders of the city are very much, they prioritize the residents here. And they want people to have a seamless, convenient life. And I think something I miss when I go home, I mean, when you go home, it goes without saying, you miss Dubai so much.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just can't wait to come back. I mean, you love seeing your friends and family, but then you realize, oh my God, how good do we have it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just the lifestyle is very much luxurious lifestyle. Security is such an important aspect, especially as a single female, right? When I moved out here, I was 21. And to be able to go out at nighttime down the road for a jog and not worry about my safety. I mean, I've lived here 5 years. I've never locked my apartment. I've never locked my door. Like, my car door is still open. You can check it right now. I'll go in and do my grocery shop and it's there running with the keys in. I mean, I'm from London, right? You can't do that, right? People are getting mugged every other corner. And it makes me appreciate it so much that safety is at the core. The health side, I mean, I had some health issues and it was just sorted so efficiently. Everything is so convenient and efficient, and I love that. Even from buying a property, everything's digitalized. You can do it on your phone.
Yeah.
Dubai is so forward thinking, and there's a reason why people are dropping everything and moving their families here. There's a reason for it, and I think that there's no better city, because at one point when I was weighing up Dubai, it was Dubai or LA or Dubai or Miami. And I was looking at these big cities and I was thinking, well, what am I going to pick?
Yeah.
Right. And I think that I'm so glad I went with Dubai. No other city compares. It really doesn't. And the people, it's such a melting pot of cultures. Yeah. And I think you learn so much from other people as well. But yeah, I just love being able to sit at home and being like, I can't be bothered to go to the mall today because I'm busy with other things. I'll send someone else to go and do my shopping and they'll bring it over for me. Or like, oh yeah, I need to run that key to the other Emirate. That's fine.
Green box.
Great.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? I'm at the office, forgot my Mac charger. Great, noon, 15 minutes, Mac charger's up. It's just so seamless.
It's mad that other places are not at this level, considering Dubai has only really existed as we sort of see it in the past 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And then I still go home sometimes and I'm like, can you not just order like juice and stuff from the
And
the
they
shops?
look at you like you're
and they're like,
crazy.
what? And it's like, yeah, we can just, if I'm in Dubai and I forget milk or I forget eggs or whatever, 5 minutes and it's at your door.
It's done. Yeah.
But yeah, Zay, well, I'm glad you moved to Dubai. It's been great. Fantastic.
And also I think like Dubai is a reflection of the kind of person I like to be, in the sense that they're very much forward thinking, innovative, but they're always raising the bar. And I think as a person, I love living in that kind of city, right? It's never enough, right? They're always wanting to make a new record, whether it's the tallest building or the largest, like, what was it? The largest infinity pool or the highest infinity pool. Another record's being broken every day. It's like, Dubai's this, Dubai's #1 in this. And I love that. Because it's like, well, I want to be like that. And I'm in the right city. I'm surrounded by like-minded people, hustlers, people that want to network, people that want to grow. And Dubai thoroughly encourages that. So I think that when you're choosing locations, it really, really doesn't compare when you're looking at the best. Dubai has everything.
Agreed.
It really does.
100% agreed. And we're seeing more and more people every single year and every single month moving here, because I think people now realize that it's not just a gimmick. It's not just, I moved here 9 years ago now, and I remember what people said back then, and now they laugh going, I can't believe I ever thought that. Which is just amazing. And that brings me on to my final question, Zay, which is, what's a statement or a quote that you live by?
Yeah, so the one that really stands out for me is, don't live your life based on other people's opinions. Because there's so many times that I stopped myself doing things because I was like, oh, well, how is that going to make me look? And time, it really resonates with me, because time is everything. Time is something that we're limited on. And I think that if you're going to make a leap or make a change or make, something that's going to be personal to you, do it. And I think that it's important to remember that no one else is you, right? No one else can be you. You are unique. Each person brings something different to the table. And if you have something in you that says, right, I want to do this, grab it with both hands. Don't let anyone else tell you different. And that goes for family and friends. Because there's so many people in families that I think will be like, oh, don't do that. That's risky. Or that doesn't sound like the right thing to do. You got to make sure you live by your own expectations, by your own wants and needs. So yeah, that's something that I always remind myself every day, is whatever I do, I never do it for for the approval of others. I do it for myself. Yeah.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Thanks.